Go ahead.
What was your first reaction? Did you see that come up or you get wind of it?
Yeah, I was actually out recruiting when it happened, and my phone kind of blew up with what was getting ready to transpire. You know, I was excited. It was a chance for us to play another quality opponent. They're talented offensively. You know, as a defensive player, you always look forward to challenges when you face a team that's explosive they are offensively. So it excited me, and you know, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, they're very athletic. They're very talented. They put up a lot of points. When you look at them, they're a physical style running team that you've got to be able to beat the blockers up front. They've got guys that can make the unblocked guy miss, and when that happens, that's when they get their double-digit runs. They can get the ball in space with athletic guys. They've got a quarterback that hasn't turned the ball over. When you look at their turnovers this year, it's been very low. He understands the system, knows where to throw the ball, done a really good job with that. And then they got skilled guys outside that not only can catch the ball in tight coverage, but they can also block. I think anytime you have the kind of runs that they have, that's going to be a compliment not only to the line for getting the guy to the second level, but you've got to have guys outside that are going to hold their blocks and do those kind of things. And you've got guys that carry the ball that can make a guy miss, but also have the speed to take it the distance. So they have a combination of all of that, and we understand that, so we're going to have to play well.
Specifically with their running backs, you faced a guy earlier this year, Dalvin Cook, Florida State is an incredible playmaker. They have a guy, Nick Chubb, and some of the running backs. What do you see out of that group?
Well, first of all, they're big, they're thick, they can run through tackles, they can make the first guy miss, they can really hurt you if you don't take good angles to the ball. You've got to take the air out of the play, meaning you know when you give guys like that space to run the ball, it's an issue. So you got to set the edge of the defense, build a wall inside, and make sure you don't create seams. You know, for a guy like that, because when a guy like that gets the ball with a seam, he can take what should be a 3 to 5 yard gain and make it a 10 to 12 to a home run type deal. So we understand that, and we've got to make sure that we tackle. Well, I think that it's still going to get down to, you know, beating blocks up front. You got to play with low pad level. Got to play with your hands, get off blocks. You've got to know your alignment. You got to know where you need to fit, and it's still going to get down to tackling guys with the ball. So I don't know how much, you know, with me being there is really going to help from the standpoint of it's going to get down to playing football and us understanding what we've got to do, which is, you know, we've got to play physical, we got to play aggressive, and we got to be able to you know, tackle the runner. So we got to be able to work on that.
At the end of a long season, maybe some bruises and all kinds of things. So this helps your defense to get healthy, get able to be as healthy as you've been in a while.
Yeah, this will be about as healthy as we are since really the halftime of the Florida State game, you know, which is good for us. You know, the first couple days we've always approached it as spring practice type work to get guys looks at maybe positions for next year. You know, best example I can tell you, when I was at Georgia, we had Jarvis Jones, who was a transfer at the time, and we had to decide, you know, whether we're going to play him outside or inside. And after about 4 plays, I knew where we were going to play him. But anyway, we had to go through the scrimmage and understand where we're going to play him, and we're going to do that with some guys to try to find out maybe if a safety can play linebacker or a corner can play safety, and mix and match to give us a head start on spring practice for next year.
Multiple quarterbacks, Louisville's one of them, and Ohio State. As a coordinator, how does that influence your approach when you're not sure who?
Well, you still got to prepare for the offense, you know, because of the people around them and in the offensive line, the runners and the skill guys. So you've always got to prepare for the offense. When a guy comes in at quarterback, the big thing is what's his ability to run the ball. You know, because what happens is when a quarterback can run the ball, it does two things. First of all, in the run game, it opens up an extra gap because now this guy has to be accounted for in the run game. In the passing game, now you've got a guy that has the ball in his hands, and he can take off running from that standpoint. So you're always going to prepare for the offense, but at the same time, you have to have an awareness for the style of quarterback it is, and you got to account for him when needed. You know, both as a runner in the run game, but also pulling it down and taking off running in the pass game.
There's so many guys making plays for Heath doing what he's done, kind of his, his improvement throughout the years. Talk about what he's done in the middle.
Who's that now?
Heath,
Keith Kelsey. Yeah, Keith, he's a guy that when I first got here, he embraced the change. He was looking forward to learning the system. He was a little bit of a gym rat as far as always wanting to watch tape, wanted a new call, wanted, something new. He's really a guy that went in and took the job and earned it. And it started this time last year, to be honest with you. I mean, we got here in January, and he had an approach, I'm going to win a job, and I'm going to be the quarterback of this team. And that's really what he's done. He's a guy that's very commanding with the calls. He's very decisive. He understands the game plan, also does a good job of studying the opponents and understand where he needs to fit and maybe what's coming from a play standpoint. He's got good athletic ability. He can run, and he's done a really good job for us, and really he's the kind of the quarterback in the middle there that gets us going.
most coordinators would like to look at interceptions as a team.
Mhm.
That one player would want. What's it like having him back there and knowing that at some point he's probably going to make a play?
Yeah, well, Gerard, he's a guy that studies tape. He understands his fits. He understands his reads and what he needs to look at. And it gets back to getting his eyes back on the quarterback and understanding the route distribution based upon the play and where he can jump routes and do those kind of things. Done a really good job with it. I think it's also a credit to the other guys around him. Just like in the run defense, when you end up third in the country in the run game, that's not only a credit to the front guys, but it's also a credit to the secondary for their fits and those kind of things. I think in this situation, there's been some situations where he's benefited from some rush, where the quarterback had to make a choice. Do I get hit and take a sack, or maybe I get rid of the ball a little bit quicker than I want to? And some guys made that choice, and Gerard, to his credit, was able to jump the route and make some plays. So I think it gets back to he's a really good player. He's got really good instincts. He prepares, knows the game plan, and he's had some guys around him that's helped him along the way also. So it's a combination of all that. Yeah, he's a. Yeah, I mean, a guy like that is tough because you've got to decide, pick your poison from the standpoint of if you double the guy, it's going to leave other guys one-on-one. It can also affect your run fits to stop the runners from that standpoint. So anytime you can get a talented guy like that, and then with our offense's complexity where they can move him around, makes it very difficult to always say you're going to double the guy. You've got to really work at that if you want to do that kind of thing. So, I mean, I think he's a tremendous player. I was actually around A.J. Green at Georgia, and he's very comparable to him in my opinion, both from a personality standpoint. Doesn't say a lot at practice to, his balance and going up and getting the ball, his ability to, even if he's doubled, go make a play on the ball. I've been really impressed with him, and I think he's a tremendous player. All right, thank y'all.